We're here with Shiko, Paragon of the Way, 5 mana 4/5, Flying Vigilance. When it enters, exile a non-land card from your graveyard, mana value 3 or less, and then copy it. So if you copy a permanent spell, which this is not just instant and sorceries, which your brain's probably going to think it always is. Nope. If you copy something else, it's a token. So, just Skyclave Apparition, copy it, token, right? It works. 3 blind mice, I'm pretty sure in some weird way goes like infinite, just copying itself if it's already a copy of itself or a token from this. So that would just be funny. It's not amazing, but it's funny to just do this repeatedly. Who knows? Maybe it just runs out of control in a game or two. So yeah, it's a lot of flicker stuff, but also a Jeskai control list, and well, those two things kind of have some pretty solid overlap here. There's an argument to go more in one direction than the other, but I think maybe straight down the middle is a good starting point. Could run more board wipes, run more counterspells, spot removal, bounce value-centric creatures that are worth bouncing, more removal, more, you can just do whatever. But this is the starting iteration of our deck list, so we are gonna send it with this. Like, comment, subscribe, send it. Send it! Like, oh, the event's broken, but this rep farm that we didn't, fix, we're just gonna leave that casually in the game. Or remove that, but we won't fix the thing that actually gives you rep on purpose. Okay, how do they not do stuff for 2 turns? That doesn't make sense to me. Chat, it doesn't make sense. Girth Spiral. Okay. They did something. They did something tragic. Alright, well, of course. Why wouldn't that happen, right? Why wouldn't my opponent just have Cavern of Souls against me? Well, on the bright side, I can just ruin everything with a House Meld. Let's play this land? Yeah. I just wasn't willing to Mana Tithe anything else. My opponent's only going to play this because they don't have a land, get wrecked. Alright, cool. That's what you get for mulliganing for Cavern of Souls. What does this do? I don't care. Restoration of... Yeah, maybe. I was looking at that one. We want blue-red here? Oh, wait. Can I not get blue-red? Nope, I can't. So, blue-white? Sure. Is the Jeskai Triome in the game? Am I drawing a blank right now? They're all in the game, right? Yeah. They're all in the game. What am I talking about? I just don't have it in here. Wash Away works against my opponent's deck. It's not a land, though. It's not a land. I can do... I don't know. I'm probably not going to play this as a land this turn. Okay, I sort of drew the same card again. Alright, they found a land. Kept the card on top. Probably another land, honestly. Ooh, we want Brainstorm. I'm not sure if I put that in here. Always want your Brainstorms. And I'm not sure if I really want a mountain. Oh, do I not have a mountain in here? The deck builder just didn't put a mountain in here. We probably want at least one mountain in my deck, I'm not gonna lie. Probably want at least one. I'm quite surprised that they did not put a mountain in here. There's just that few red cards. It makes sense, though. I probably honestly don't need a mountain. I probably don't. Let's be real. So there's some kind of protection spell, obviously. But this is very, very, very good. Oh, there's no protection spell. Wow, get Schmieded. Let's pass. I drew another land. Kaimil? I might not have a no, I have a steam vents, right? I think I'll unsubstantiate that. No, I can counter it. I can just counter it, right, yeah. I could unsubstantiate so they cast it again next turn. So how does this work as a non-creature? Oh, it works! Okay, I wasn't actually sure if it worked or not. This is going to get a lot harder for my opponent then, probably. We have nothing to flicker. We can just play out Displacer Kitten, though. I don't expect them to do anything about it, but even if they do, I'm just content with that. It's a little hard to deal with the kitten, though. Primeval Titan. Let's whoop. Oh, opponent. Your whole Titan just got countered now. It's not going back to your hand anymore. Oh no, opponent. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Tragic. Okay, drew a card. I will not do anything, so I can swing for 2. Do I cast my commander now? It's not really doing anything. Yes it is, I have Ephemerate. Yeah, why not? Let's just do this now. Right here. Just for the sake of it. And flicker this for the sake of it. Chat, we're popping off. We're popping off something fierce. I can Phantasmal Image this too. Expropriate? Oh, opponent. Oh no. Doesn't matter. Oh, hey, Mana Tithe. Yeah, that just works. There you go, buddy. There you go. Right there. Oh, that was a fun game. I had a blast that game. That was very fun. We'll get it next time. We'll get it next time. Alright, well, we're in this world where this card exists again, so that's cool. Let's get a red-white Triome? I mean, this thing, right? Yeah. No more Mana Drain, but it's fine. Never mind, we found Mana Drain again. Another card. That's Graveyard Hate. Whoop-de-doo. I can just deal with it. I don't think I'm going to deal with it, though. I don't think I'm going to deal with it. I could cast Phantasmal Image, but I don't really want to. Okay, chat. What is my opponent playing? What is happening? Do I want another blue? No, I think I want a white. I'm rather confused. Also, this is a Narset deck. You can't mill me with the Realm Breaker. I don't even know why they let that resolve, or like fight it. It just doesn't do anything. Okay, well, I'm gonna play out my commander, because this is probably a really good spot for it. There's nothing to exile though, right? No. We'll just do this for the sake of it. Okay, we're up against Narset. I didn't mentally register that. It is weird Mana Drain's not a game changer. Multiplayer is a little bit different, though. If Sol Ring is not a game changer... Voice is gone. If Sol Ring is not a game changer, I don't really care about Mana Drain in 4-player EDH. I really don't. But if 1v1, it's just completely egregious to me. Just insanely, it's just baffling. Return target creature opponent controls his own hand. I'm gonna make you do that twice. Gonna do this, I guess. Okay. Things have happened. I could have just recast it as well. That was weird. That was a weird sequence there. You have a third bounce spell? I kind of doubt it. I really don't like Sol Ring as a card. I think Sol Ring shouldn't belong in any 4-player singleton deck where you just like get you're just 2 turns ahead, turn 1. Like, why? I don't run Sol Ring in my commander decks, but that's out of spite. I just don't do it. I feel like I'm not concerned with Narset. There's a whole boatload of dirtling coming from the opponent's side this game. Whole boatload of dirtling. Do I cast my commander again? I don't think so. I think this is slightly better here. My opponent just passed the turn, like, extremely quickly. That's funny. So what's not good? Image, protection... Yeah, these two don't look too... Well, actually, image, No. Nope. I like Skrill. We're going to swing with a treasure here. Or at least try to. Alright, it worked. I feel like Narset needs a card draw engine, and it doesn't currently have one, so... I'm curious what my opponent's long-term plan is. I'm gonna make this uncounterable because it seems like it's really good here. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna wipe out the Ghost Vacuum, because it's probably the only thing that impacts my graveyard. And they don't want to Realm Breaker me because I get cards out of that deal. Like, they fill my graveyard with stuff. It's probably not a good idea. Okay. They really wanted that Ghost Vacuum. They really wanted Ghost Vacuum. That is funny. They really wanted Ghost Vacuum. It makes sense, but it's all of my opponent's resources in a mono blue deck to do that. So, I don't think my opponent's going to win this game with what's happening right now. Outside of profoundly good cards that they might draw or something. Alright, well, they can activate their Hall of the Storm Giants. I do not care. I don't even hesitate. Let's make our commander uncounterable and simply cast it. There's no reason to exile this opponent. You don't have to do that. Okay, they did. You got it. I really don't like the Realm Breaker idea here. It's very, very risky to mill me. It's worked out, though. I mean, perfect 2 lands and 1 thing for the vacuum. That is, like, the perfect outcome. They had the counterspell. We could have actually paid 3. We could have paid 3. We just tapped 2 instead, so I guess we saved ourselves a treasure token. Yeah, this is not a long-term successful strategy out of the opponent here. It's you need to draw cards somehow. I'm not going to swing with that. Alright, you need... I don't even know what. Was River's Rebuke cast this game? It was. Okay. Alright, so they can create their own Monastery Mentor, I guess. I don't even have to bounce this. Like, there's... I don't have to bounce this. I can probably threaten the bounce. When can you flip this? At sorcery speed? At sorcery speed? Alright, I mean... They're not doing anything. Why do I care about this? I don't care about this. No, I don't care about this. I have an onboard answer anyways. I don't have to do anything. Alright, I mean... What do you got? You need it, like, right now. Okay, yep, I'm not sure what Narset's really trying to do as a commander here, that, like, Fibblethip. Maybe not Brawl, because it's, like, bracket 65, but Fibblethip seems a bit more ideal in this kind of matchup. Also, Ghost Vacuum is just weird in mono blue, counterspell, spammy stuff. It's just very strange to me. You're never going to find a window to pay 6. At least I don't imagine you are. Even if you are, it's just kind of weird, especially like Ketramels all over the place and whatnot. What did I discard? Okay. You're bad, you're half asleep. The old Sultai Jeskai 20-minute control matchup puts you to bed. Oh, opponent. Oh no, is that the most crucial thing you could have done? Oh no. Oh no, I 3-for-1 myself. What's wrong? It's still that good? 3-for-1ing myself and you can see it? Oh my goodness. Alright, this is probably okay. But we'll see. I am going to turn 1 Curse of Silence because I want to. Make sure I name the right card. I can flicker Solitude, but I highly doubt that that has any kind of relevance in this matchup, so... My opponent shocked themselves. What does that mean? It means cycling Wilt. Alright, my opponents are playing Wilt. Alright, they didn't hit their land drop. Do you have Tails in? Nope. Bit tragic. Land drops are the name of the game, so we're going to keep that. And we're going to play this, so I have Vitali scoring up at least. Alright, I'm not sure my opponent can come out of this. I'm not going to feed them a good mana drain. I'm just ahead by a lot. So don't think I need that. They're probably staying in the game because they have mana drain. Alright, they found a land. Let's cast Solitude, because it's not really doing anything. I'm going to do it in their main phase here. Oh, actually, there's no reason to do it in their main phase. Shoot, I should have done it in combat. I should have done this in combat to play around mana drain. That was a mistake. Probably fine, though. Looks like it's not mana drain anyways. Okay. Remand. Sure. Is there a wash away? I mean, there's nothing to cast off my commander anyways, right? Yeah, there isn't. So, teleportation circle. Pass. Okay, I'm not going to pay for Spell Pierce. That's probably okay. They can't cast their commander because Curse of Silence. I'm going to counter that because they're meta screwed. Alright, I need them to stop having, like, answers and perfect cantrips on my end step. Gotta stop doing that. Uro. Okay. Okay, put it. They really want it there. Uro. I can cast my commander now, and we have at least a Seek New Knowledge in the graveyard, so I guess this is okay. Opponent drew a forest for the turn, or off the Uro. Alright, this is okay. Let's get rid of the Heliod's Punishment. Am I casting Skrelv? No, that's just not a good idea. Yep. Untargetable Edict. I cannot play my commander, so play this. Because we know about a 2-mana counterspell that made our opponent refuse to scoop early. Draw 3. Let's put that on top of my opponent's deck. I wonder if I should even let it resolve next turn, because it deals damage to my opponent. Okay, they're now casting something. Sure. I draw a card off this, don't I? Yeah. How much damage does this do? 3 life? That is sketchy, but... why are they not casting Uro? Okay, apparently we're doing stone cold nothing. Wow. I could cycle this land later, but probably just best to get it. It's not likely for me to cycle it anyways if I draw it. It's actually very unlikely. Sheltered by ghosts. Let's just swing for 1. Yeah. I could try to fight a counter war, but I don't like the blowback of losing it. It's pretty substantial. I'm always swinging with the Skrelv. I'm not trying to protect 2-2. I'm going to counter this and not sack my Curse of Silence. If I let Uro resolve, they gain a lot of life. So let's try to just win the game. Well, that was not Mana Drain. Narset's reversal is kind of insane. Okay. So now I just have to swords it. I can resolve my commander, actually. Hold on, maybe we're... well, I don't know. I could put sheltered by ghosts on my... commander, or do I put it on the token? Let's just get rid of Uro this way. I can cast my commander. Oh, we did it. We did it, chat. Oh, we did it. What a game. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I mean, you can see the power of... I really think this is Mana Drain. Speaking of turning out different, if we're kind of doing the same thing here, opponents just has a better edge because they have a better commander. This is the commander where you really want like one of 4 or 5 cards that exist in the game, and the rest of them don't care about your commander. Solar Transformer. Alright, I wouldn't counter that anyways. I'm gonna brainstorm right now. Get rid of that and that. Blue, red, white, anything. Let's get blue. Do I Faithless Looting? Probably. I do actually like Skrelv here, though. Yeah, let's not Faithless Looting. Let's just not do that. I like my whole hand, except, I mean, Skrelv and this land were the two, but I mean, I need to play the land, so... Might just not cast this. That's fine. It's not, like, the worst thing that could be a thing with stuff. We cannot play this. It'll shuffle away my graveyard. And here's the serious downside of it costing 4. I mean, excuse me, 5. Yeah, we swing. Alright, we're gonna Faithless Looting. I don't really like getting rid of Swords to Plowshares here. But it has to be the worst of the bunch. Yeah. It just has to be. So we can blow this up. I cannot imagine my opponent just windmill slams. Whoa! They did. Chat, they did. Okay. Okay, they thought about it for about 30 seconds. Interesting. I mean, nah. Cavern is interesting as well. I guess so? What are we doing? Not really. I mean, we get a spell even if it dies. We do get something, so I might as well cast it. And Tail's End, Brainstorm. Well, Tail's End doesn't do anything. Yeah, just Brainstorm. Why not? At least draws one card, right? Okay. Suppose that was... This might be better than I gave it credit for that turn cycle. Could explain why they thought so much. They're like, do we fight? Do we fight back? And then I just sort of blew out the fight back on my turn idea. Alright, we don't want to draw this, so... Marsh Flats. We don't have to worry about the Midnight Clock. At least not yet. I mean, my opponent has 5 cards in their hand, so it's not like it's flipping into insane advantage. Make a 1-1. Do it. Make a 1-1. Yeah, they did it. They saw it. I will now do nothing about that. I could have just punished that, but it seems kind of weird. Seems kind of weird. Okay, well. So... Treasure... Shatter? So treasure... I could also blow up... I mean, no, we're just blowing this up. I don't even know if you fight over this. Is this worth it? Okay, in some way, apparently it is. My opponent has 6 cards in their hand. I'm so just not concerned with this thing. Yeah, we're just gonna get a... We're not gonna cast it again. No. Like, you flipping away 6 cards is such a not big deal to me. Right? It's just so slow to do that. Like, mulligan your whole hand and lose your mana rock. Just doesn't seem like a good idea. Alright, they drew that land for the turn. I will... Again, they're going to get rid of their graveyard. It's just a Surveil one a turn. Not really worth picking a fight over, in my opinion. So, alright, let's draw 2 at this point and shatter. Not worth fighting over. Probably worth fighting over. Okay. You have 3 counter spells? Jeez. Okay, well, you got it. That was unexpected. That was also unexpected. Let's actually swing first. What does this do, though? It does a whole bunch of stuff, so it actually worked out. Alright. I guess sheltered by ghosts? Just for the sake of ward here? And then just stop. Get rid of this so they can't bend the counterspell, which hopefully is just dead. Okay, calm down there. Calm down there, game. Am I playing a land? Yeah, most assuredly. Alright, well, that was pretty good. Okay, this is probably just a chump blocker, which it actually can't even block if I don't want it to. Okay, now it just literally can't block. Ooh, I flickered away my... Whoops. I flickered away my token version of the enchantment. My bad. Probably doesn't in any way matter, but it is funny. Alright, do we lose to Farewell? Haven't seen Farewell yet. Surely overdue for it. Well, I didn't lose to Farewell. That looked like a whoopsie? Okay, yeah, that was a whoops. This was discounted because it targeted this, right? Yeah. I mean, this is what this commander does. So, a duplicate of each non-token permanent in your hand. Yeah, they had one of them, but Ward just got him good there. Ward just got him good. Alright, cool. Okay, so it is not really surprising that this isn't very good. It was actually really bad, I would say. It wasn't even just like slightly below average. I think it was just really, really bad. Now, I'm sure there's a bunch of people that like this for what it's doing or whatever. All the flicker effect kind of enjoyers out there are like, oh, it's just, you know, the next cool thing you could do in that. But, no. Stick to Urion. You know, your 5-mana 4/5 Urion is better. I mean, even adding red didn't feel worth it, right? I would just rather play Urion, you know, if I want to do flickering nonsense. You need things in your graveyard to even use this. right? Now that's not too difficult. That's not too difficult. But it can't copy counterspells, and those are really the strongest thing we found ourselves doing was counterspells, and this, for the most part, doesn't really recur any of them. Some of them it does, right? Like Archmage's Charm, and where is it? Yep. Archmage's Charm, stuff like that. Find the Villain's Lair actually does something. Supreme Will does something. So there are some. But for the most part, the flicker half of this strategy just wasn't really good. You can go super into it with a bunch of ways to flicker this, but then congratulations, most of the things in your hand don't do anything until this is in play. So you can run an entire list full of flickering, spamming things, right? Just a bunch of the blue-white flicker package in your deck. It's just your commander doesn't play to the board like all of your deck does in that regard, right? All of the ETB effects on 1, 2, and 3. Like, there's a deck that does that. You know, the deck that just a bunch of creatures, some ETB enchantments and whatnot that you could potentially sacrifice to then recur. Like that. If you want to go on that half of the deck, go for it. And that's probably more interesting because the other half is done with way more efficient commanders, right? Like trying to do a Bejeskai control with the graveyard snapcaster thing. It's just hard to do that. There was actually a lot of incidental random graveyard hate. I don't really think that's realistic to expect, but there was a surprising amount of graveyard hate tonight. Really unfortunate, but it's not really going to take that into consideration because I didn't see any Ketchermos, right? Ketchermos would be lights out for any graveyard-based thing from happening in any game ever against Ketchermos, but didn't see Ketchermos. What I did see, however, was about 80%, maybe even slightly more percentage of all of my matchups were like blue-green, green, blue-green, black, blue-green, white. There was just an insane amount of counterspells out of opponents and a bunch of fast mana and a bunch of giant spells that like they could play 2 or 3 spells in a turn. The green decks don't care about anything. They could just cast whatever they want, whenever they want. So the control half of it was not keeping up with that. And then the flicker half was also just not doing anything, right? The value engine was just not there. It really wasn't there. Whirlwind of Thought, though, it took a while to bump into this one, but this was a really good card when I cast it, at least. It does sort of keep you in the game. I mean, sometimes it's better than the One Ring. I don't know if it is in this deck, but when every spell you cast draws a card, you are, rolling in it. You're rich when that happens. It just didn't really happen, honestly. Gamble, I don't know. I don't have nothing to say about Gamble. It's either great or it's terrible. It's in the name. But yeah, I just didn't like this. So if I was going to play this again, it would be all in on the flicker half and just play like 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop Yorion style deck with red. And instead of getting the Yorion value, you'd just be getting one singular spell out of your graveyard value that hopefully does more than simply flicker your commander, because then you just didn't do anything except, cast a spell and trigger prowess on something that might matter. I don't know. So you can't really, you'd have Monastery Mentor. I ended up taking that out. It wasn't doing anything. But you could do stuff like that with casting flicker spells over and over. But it's just in your opening hand against most opponents, when you have a hand of 2 flicker spells in your hand, those will not do anything. So you have a 5-card hand, essentially, until later on in the game. Now, you'll have more things to target if you're all in on bouncing your ETB cards that you could be running. But in the meantime, they're not great. And if those ETBs aren't really useful in any given matchup, then doing them twice is really bad, right? Oh, I have Cloud Shift in my hand, but the ETBs I have aren't really good for the matchup I'm playing against. They're just sitting there staring at my opponent. And then you're weak to sweepers, or way more weak to sweepers, and spot removal and whatnot. So This probably needed to be like a 3-mana 3/3 for me to really like it. It's not that much better, but it would be way better as a 3-mana 3/3 or something like that. Even a 3-mana 2/2. I mean, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just on 5, the fact that I'm not casting something that's a big deal is borderline impossible in historic Brawl at this point, right? Maybe 2 years ago, maybe even just a year ago. Maybe not, but like 2 years ago, okay. But now, no. All right, the green decks don't care about this at all. The blue counterspell decks, you're never really gonna cast this and leave up counter magic to like fight whatever your opponent's doing. And if they're a counterspell based deck, they probably have a better commander for, running that kind of thing where we don't. So I really think this is the best way to play it, and it's still just not successful, right? I don't have faith in the ETB spam stuff, and this is like plan B or like whatever. It's always plan B, but flickering, I don't know. I can't even begin to imagine what I would want to flicker with this in play and get out of my graveyard with it. Like, oh, a 3-drop died. Let me cast my 5-drop and get that 3-drop back. Like, that just doesn't sound good even on paper. It really doesn't. The flicker spam stuff in this specific iteration is weaker than the other one because I've left 2 flicker, but I still think overall this is just Jeskai mid-range control-y thing is just the best way to do it, and it's, again, not really cutting it. It really isn't. It is pretty low to the ground, though, so it's got that going for it. It isn't flooded with 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s. I don't think it can be. You can run mana rocks, I guess, but that's way less other things you're doing, right? You have to take out a bunch of cards to add the mana rocks, and then any game where you're casting mana rocks, that's less spells and things to actually cast with this, or just anything in general, like counter spells, removal, efficient ETBs, planeswalkers, like, you have to make room for mana rocks, and then that's all they do is produce mana. So they don't even synergize with this, and there's no rush to get to this. I just don't think it works. I've played against it, and it trampled me a couple times, actually only once. But I mean, there's only so much you can expect. Sometimes the nuts is the nuts. Sometimes you have better draws. Sometimes you don't play against only blue and only green. That was basically the entire 3.5 hours. I played more of this than I have played the past few commanders too. Yeah, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm not satisfied with it. Cannot recommend, so it is what it is. But let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.